Hey, greetings and blessings, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and it's time for some Monday musings, some thoughts to consider. Today, inspired by, the life of the Talcottian adventure. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for those who are joining now, may join later. I've pinned the link for those who want to pop on the panel to join, but today the topic is inspired by a number of different places, and I want to kind of get into spiritual wars. It's a reality that we are facing, but people don't understand the reality of what we're experiencing. And so everyone's like living, I don't know. This world is amazing. And earlier today, once again, I'm gripped with the reality that I'm living. Ran around. I had the luxury of being able to run around town, um, stock up on some groceries and stuff. I'm blessed with abundance, but I can't believe I've lasted this long the way that I have, and I really don't know what the future is going to bring financially. I got no clue what is going on. I've got a lot of ideas, but my ideas have not worked for the past several years. So the point was, I got into my head again this morning, facing the reality, and I was inclined, I'm ready to walk away from everything again. I'm ready to walk away from the social media, the YouTube. I'm ready to walk away from my home. I'm ready to go have an adventure. I'm ready for a new life to begin. And I'm excited. I'm excited about the possibilities, but I've been feeling that way for several years. But so anyway, get to the point, Jack. I'm sitting here today wondering, all right, Jack, what is the reason you would go online today? Plenty of reasons why you wouldn't, but why would you? The only answer I could come up with was because that's what others want of you, Jack. As soon as I realized that, there was, oh, wow, hey, I forgot to mention that. I'm testing my luck today with my electronics. I may have to cut this short. Hey, maybe this will work. Try that. Well, I guess I'll run it like this for a little while, but my camera started going out. I forgot about that. And so, there's plenty of signs and reasons why I should not do some of the things I do, yet I do them anyway. And I tell you what, brothers and sisters, I know there are some of you who are finding value. And to you, thank you. I don't know the faces, I don't know the names, but those images that I imagine and I know are real. I mean, I've got enough evidence to be confirmed that I know there are people receiving value from the things I'm sharing, beyond just the entertainment. So when I heard that inner voice say, because that's what others want from you, the world, I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm happy to serve. And so here I am. Here I am, brothers and sisters. After the interesting stream we had yesterday with, golly geez, some truly strong energies, brilliant men. After the interesting stream we had on my platform, I found myself elsewhere, and the topic was spiritual wars. And I didn't really get to speak a lot on that. This morning, I was also inspired by other creator. They were talking about decriminalization, right? So In my own perspectives, my own thoughts, the way that I know the world works is through order. It appears chaotic until you understand the patterns. And once you understand the patterns, you can see the order. And there is a perfection in the order of today and all days and all times. There is a perfection to this order that we are participating in. The character of Yeshua, Jesus, and many others, they were, examples to show us the way, to show us the order of this experience that we are co-creating together. So we've had the examples, we've had the knowledge. I mean, truth is eternal. Wisdom is truly, truly the strongest power that a man or woman can possess. Wisdom and the experience to know when to use it, I guess. But that's what this life is about. We're here each to gather the wisdom we need. We each have different levels of education, different things we're going to need in order to grow and develop our own individual talents. But, well, this slave owner mentality that we've been born in, it's criminal. I mean, it's quite clear when you objectively step back and detach yourself from everything that is, to look at the systems of our government just broadly. Look at the systems of our economics. None of this logically, if you think things through and you review the consequences of the choices, if we look at humanity today, the world, with honest and open eyes, if we see the world the way God may have envisioned it, holy cows. It's kind of shameful what's been going on. I mean, I watched the news earlier too, the authorities building up tensions, and the media is spreading fear to propagate war, to propagate more conflicts. And, this is our lifetime. Brothers and sisters, this is where I'm at, this is our lifetime to live. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I say the old ways are no longer functioning. They are functioning. It's just, as time goes on, things grow, and the economic disparity is growing, as is the visibility of the corruption, and all of this stuff is becoming real. So we are in the midst of a spiritual battle. There is an adversarial force that wants to slow and prevent the evolution of you, of me, of humanity. It's just part of the game, I imagine. I mean, and that's what all these explanations are, brothers and sisters. Everything in science, everything in history, it's just imagined and recorded, and if it follows logic, then it can be confirmed with, there's processes. It's just, we got to recognize there's a physical reality that we live within. It's an energetic reality. It is a vibrant, dynamic process of life that all of us, human beings, we've all been taking this for granted. I'm sure maybe there's exceptions. But the egoic nature of man that has risen to influence and power in our world, it's not healthy. Okay. And everyone should know, I thought I saw his name in the chat, so I assume Paul Enslaved is here. That's an example of an ego, a character that is selfish and chaotic. Oh, God bless. Here's another one. Lou, how are you, my brother?
Hi, Jack.
God bless you.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you today?
I'm also blessed, just like you.
Did you get a haircut, or you normally wear a hat or
I
something's
normally
different?
wear a hat. You want me to wear my hat, Jack? I can put.
No, brother, I love the you. I
Oh,
love
that's
the you.
okay. I can.
I
I can
just
put my hat on.
I just noticed it
Yeah.
was different. Um, hey, thank you. The thumbnail, I have been getting support and anonymously and generously, and God bless. People are sharing their creative talents in support, and that's what really matters.
That's a blessing. I'm glad for you, Jack. Hey,
Um,
earlier you were saying that you were excited. I think you said you were excited for what the future holds. Um, I've noticed that you say that pretty much on most times when you start your broadcast. You generally add that in, and I'm curious, when you mean you're excited for the future, what about the future excites you, if I may ask?
I love the question, and it's hard to maybe imagine, but what excites me for the future is what excites me for the future is the possibilities, Lou. If I can try and make this sense, okay? Part of the exercise that I've been living has been a demonstration of learning humility. For me, humility has apparently been a big part of my development, and I feel as though my humility and grace and all of patience, all the good qualities, I feel that those have been improving in me. So where I'm at today, I've really been trying to consider what would have been in his head? What was he thinking about besides what he said? What was he experiencing? And fuck, I don't know. I truly don't know. But what I do know is from what I understand of him and some of these other spiritual teachers, these mystics, it really comes down to an absolute surrender. Because when we surrender, when we get ourselves, when we get our ego, when Jack gets out of the way, things usually have a way of working out. You know, I don't know how, but the universe does, or I find the answers. But there's a spirit that is with each of us, the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of Christ, whatever you want to call it, but there's a connection with us that is pure and like he. And so all the point is, when it comes down to it, God is in absolute control. And when we can humble ourselves to God's perfection, Lou, trust that somehow, some way, for whatever reason, God has you exactly where you're supposed to be today. And you've done exactly what you were supposed to do until now. And if we can trust that everything has been perfect and there is perfection everywhere, all we got to do is learn how to do our best, being honest and at peace. There's a spiritual war going on that's going on through our minds, brother.
Are you at peace, Jack?
I am truly at peace.
So going back to my question, about what it is that excites you for the future. I didn't feel like I really understood what your answer was. I'm not the smartest man in the world. I'm just a dumb wop. Could you simplify it for me on what you're really excited about for the future? And if I'm asking, if I'm being too intrusive, I apologize. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. But you yourself personally, what is it that you, Jack, are excited about in your life or the future? What are you excited about? Like, because you say it often, is all I'm saying.
I truly believe, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I truly believe that the shift that is happening will like reach a point to a pinnacle where it just transforms. And there's going to be like a powerful shift of consciousness. I can envision it even like happening like a wave because that's how things work. But I see a time very soon where confusion is lifted from humanity, where people actually recognize, holy shit, we've
Well,
been doing things
that's
wrong.
yeah, I and appreciate it, but I'm kind of I don't really care about humanity, to be honest. Not Don't take me wrong. I care about humanity. I love the world to be at peace and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm more interested in what for you in your life. Okay, there's going to be a shift, a wave, or some sort of exponential turning of events in the world, and that would be fantastic. But for you yourself, as Jack Talcott, what excites you about, let's say, I don't know, give it 6 months, a year. What do you see happening that's exciting for you in the next 6 months, year, maybe a couple of years? What do you see as exciting for you personally? Just you. That's more what I'm interested in. Because Jack, I'll be honest with you, I really believe that you are a good man, and I believe that you do deserve to have a good life. We all do, right? We may not do the things we need to do to deserve that. So maybe I guess if we're not doing the right thing, we may not deserve it, but you know what I'm saying. So, but for you, I believe that you do deserve a good life and you do deserve happiness. But I'm just curious as to what that means for you, really. Aside from the world shifting and everybody else and all that stuff. Just you, Jack.
I don't think about me anymore. I mean, if I was going to answer your question a few months ago, it would, of course, be I'm excited about the possibility of reuniting with my son, about restoring my reputation, about, being recompensated for the damages that I've been surviving through. I used to think about all these things, and I used to picture myself speaking at the UN or in front of the House of Congress or wherever.
Right.
I just focus
What would
on
you
now.
say? Is there anything that if your son was here right now and in front of you, is there anything you would say to him that you've been wanting to say that you haven't had the opportunity to say? And again, leaving out the rest of the world, just you and him. Sorry, his name was, I
Dominic.
forget. Dominic,
Dom.
right. Dominic. Between you and Dominic, what would you want to say to him if he was sitting here tonight, today, with you? Is there anything that you would want him to know?
Of course. I mean, there's everything I want him to know, and there's everything I want to know about him. But I can just focus on what I can control, and I don't control anyone who comes in or out of my life. I just control who I allow to continue. He's got that same right. He
Right.
chose to no longer allow me in his life based upon the recommendations of his mother and other people who I say are confused and have made some mistakes, but you know, my faith is in God. This is something I learned. I used to get frustrated at the world and my place in the world. And then even when I started working on myself, it's a lesson I'm continuing to learn is I've placed faith in me. I've placed faith in people I've met. This is God's game, man. This is God's story. So I don't care, right? I'm just grateful. And I was thinking about this morning, Lou. If I go today, fuck, I am so satisfied with the life I've lived. While in comparison to others, I haven't achieved great things, but I have accomplished many things that many others have not. You know, I've traveled the world. I served in the military. I overcame addictions. I crawled. Dude, I have accomplished. And then many of the things I did in those roles in the military, as a union leader. You know, if the Creator takes me today, I'm confident that Jesus will know my name, will know that how I have lived and what I have tried to do. So I'm excited for the future. It either continues here on earth and I figured out how to be happy being me. Like I said, I'm already prepared again. If things continue, I will be walking away from the house and all this stuff. But
Is there a
Lou,
time frame for when you have to leave the house, or is it just or is it up to you, or I don't know. It's not my business, but I'm just.
you know,
Do you have a time frame
we
that you
we
have
signed
to?
I'm prepaid for a year.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, but
Well, that's a good amount of time to put something together, I guess. But again, sorry, Jack. Again, I'm just a dumb wop. I'm not super, like, you got to keep things so simple for me. I'm not a smart
Lou,
guy. I'm just
Lou,
really not, you know.
stop.
So
Lou,
I didn't quite get exactly, if you could simplify what you would say to your son if he was sitting here today, because I didn't get it. I'm not, like I said,
I
maybe
would
you
just,
did and I didn't understand because I'm just,
hey, Lou, you know, I probably deflected and maybe I did not offer you an answer. Um, it's hard for me to answer. I don't know. The number one is I love you, and
okay.
where do we go from here? That's that's the key for me.
Well, that's a
Um,
great place. That's a really good place.
and
I mean, if I were your son and I hadn't seen you in X amount of time, and I had other people, you know, sort of blasting stuff into my brain that I don't have any, firsthand knowledge about you, and I'm sure people are doing that. I know that people do that, and they get things confused, and maybe they're right and maybe they're wrong. But I know if I was your son and I was sitting there after so many years that, and you said to me, hey, I miss you, I love you, I think that would be the most important thing for me to hear.
man,
My father is 86 years old, and I really can't remember in all my life. I'm 60, and I really can't remember looking back ever a time that my father looked at me and said, I love you. And he just did for the first time just recently. I'm talking about like a few months ago. He just said, I love you. And it's like, wow, you're 86 years old, and now you're at death's doorstep, and it took you this long to say I love you. And I appreciated it, don't get me wrong, and I love my father very much. But I in a way, I felt like he cheated himself in a way. He didn't cheat me. I guess in some degree, to some level, he did too, because it would have been nice to hear those words occasionally. Not that anybody really needs it, because in the end, you have to love yourself. But it would have been nice to have that connection with him in the past, or going all along the whole trip, let's say, the whole experience.
Hey,
And
Lou. Lou.
yeah, so that would be a great place to start. Have you
Hey,
ever sent them
Lou.
that message that I love you and nothing else?
Yes, I have. And please, my situation is, I understand. I understand what's going on. I just have not found an opportunity to create resolve. Now,
Right.
you, brother, I love you, my friend, but here's something as an observation of what you shared, okay? You were raised by a father who, God bless him, a different time than us. I mean, you're older
Yes.
than me and he's older than
Yes.
that. So it was
Yes.
a different time, and men
Yes.
were really taught, don't let that shit out. And so the connection between you and he may not have been as solid and strong as it could have been. But
Yeah.
number one, he's still here.
Yeah.
Okay. And please, I I push into the uncomfortable. Okay. That's the way I like to roll. And, if admittedly for your father, with compassion for him, it may have been tough for him to actually finally say those words. And if he's at a point in his life where he's thinking different ways, maybe he could use a little extra support,
Yeah.
knowing that the love, even though it wasn't said, that the love is shared, you
Oh,
know?
yes. Yeah.
And
And
then
I do. I do.
please recognize as well, though, the relationship between you and your father and you and your daughters.
Yeah.
So what are you going to say to them?
Well, I may see it's kind of funny how that goes. And again, it's like I may have gone I don't know if you can, but I'm going to say it anyway. I may have gone too far the other way
Okay.
where
That's possible. That is
I
very possible.
I don't know if it's possible to say I love you too much, but if it is possible, I probably did,
Mm-hmm.
because I would, and don't get me wrong, I stopped doing it for the last couple 3 years because I felt like they told me straight to my face that it was annoying, because I
All
would
right.
never I would never get off the phone if I
Yeah.
was talking to them. I would never get off the phone without saying I love you, and then I
Hey,
would hang
Lou.
up. I would
Hey, Lou.
never leave them from my sight without saying,
Here's
"Hey, I love you." I would
what if,
never,
yes,
so I
Lou.
maybe took it too far.
Okay. So as a friend, I'm going to confirm that's probably what you did. It would make sense if you did,
Yeah.
right? Because the same way I identified patterns in my parents and I said, hell no, I'm not going to be like that. And I didn't find a balance when I could have.
Yeah.
Balance is our key to life, my brother.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah.
So, so what if that is true, that maybe you were feeling such a need within you for that validation you didn't get from your dad. You're trying to make sure it's there. So you came across as too strong, maybe. And now it's just a little, and maybe that's not the right word, but
Yeah.
it sounds like it wasn't welcomed as you
Yeah.
were intending it, right?
Yeah.
So the good thing is you're not gone. They're not gone yet. You're already recognizing that, hey, all right, maybe I swung a little bit. There's a balance that you can find. And please don't let the failures of the past, anyone who's listening, this is like stuff I know. Don't let the failures of the past prevent you from trying to move on, to improve, to find that balance. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And right now, obviously with my daughter, we're in a bit of a tumultuous time, and we need a little bit of space, I guess, away from each other. And because we've been too close for the last, since she's been living on my property, maybe we overextended our. I don't know. We just it's good to have a little space between us. I don't, I don't have that space with my other children. Like, I see them often, and I try to be as loving as I can. I don't always succeed, but yeah, just hearing "I love you," I
Hey,
think would be a great place to start with your son. But then also, I think I don't know, have you ever asked him to tell him what he would like from you, or or get stuff off his chest, or let him, like if you asked him to say, hey, give it to me, let me have it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Do you have his email or anything like that? Do you have is a communication, a way of communicating with him at all, or no?
no, this is my point, Lou.
So you can't communicate at all with him.
All of my attempts, all of my attempts are blocked. I got two phone numbers, they're both blocked. My emails are ignored, and
Well, he must have some sort of social media, or some sort of, and he's not connected in that way at all.
no, not really. He's
He's what,
I don't know.
15 years old now?
No, he's 20 years old
Oh, he's
now.
20 years old. Right. He was 15 when you parted ways, or he left, or whatever. Okay.
Yeah,
And
Lou.
he
Hey,
doesn't have any social media at all?
I saw he posted something on Instagram last November. Okay.
Did you put a heart on it or like it at all?
No, Lou, because he's obviously made it clear that he wants nothing from me. So I've messaged him in the past. I've done all sorts of things, but keep in mind, when he was 15, that was the last time that he was encouraged to speak to me
Encouraged by who?
by anyone that I can tell. I mean, his mother, his stepfather, they advised him not to speak with me, just like they have chosen to do. And so, without a witness, without an advocate saying, hey, for this guy, I'm just on my own. So I'm fine with this, Lou. Should my son, should the universe ever allow me and my son to speak again, we'll figure it out. And if that doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Hey, Scott, you got to mute, brother.
I I wasn't paying attention.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay.
man.
No, I don't know. I think that, you know, all this time you've been around on these panels and Paul's panel and everything. I don't know if anybody's really ever taken the time. I know Paul does have a genuine care in his heart for you. And I know you may not feel that sometimes, because it feels pretty, it may feel hurtful the way he is sometimes. But at the same time, I think if you stood back and looked at it from the outside, I think he has a genuine care in his heart for you. And I think it comes out. I see when people start uh, attacking him, let's say, I'll use that word because I can't think of a different word right now, in any sort of way, you seem to subtly, although subtly, but you seem to defend him. So I think that tells me that you understand that he has a care in his heart. Whether his method is correct or incorrect, I don't know, but it's brought you to this point. And I know that you're a little bit different than you were in the beginning, because in the beginning you wouldn't last for 5 seconds, let alone 5 hours. I don't know if you remember those days, but any sort of discussion about your whatever misgivings in this world were met with harsh goodbyes by you, right? And you're not doing that anymore.
Hey Lou, brother, I love you, but when your mind is clear, you'll go back and maybe you'll see some of these interactions a little bit differently. But
Maybe.
your vision, you're still working through you, and the way you're describing, there has been growth in me, but I was actually from the very beginning very patient and kind and forgiving, and um,
Do you truly see yourself as a patient man, Jack?
I have plenty of evidence that supports that. Yes.
No, whatever evidence. I'm saying you yourself, if you really look at yourself, do you find yourself to be patient?
Not willingly. I'm very,
Okay, so
I'm,
that says something, right? If you're not willingly,
says
then
I'm human.
is the
Yes.
patience real if it's not willing?
Hey, Lou, what is your point?
Well, I'm not trying to
Are you
get
trying to
thrown.
prove me
I'm not
wrong?
trying to get thrown out. Let's just say
Well,
that.
what are you? Right.
Trying to
So
keep it
rather
as
than Lou, don't feel attacked.
okay.
Let's relax. But your
Okay.
ego is going. Okay. So I know the ego wants to say what you're not doing. So let's figure out, what are you doing? What are you doing by interrogating my claim that I have been patient on these panels?
I'm not interrogating it. I'm just saying that I've noticed on several occasions that your patience is very thin at times with many people, especially when it comes to anybody that would have any sort of uh, criticism, if I could use that word,
Hey,
although
Lou.
I don't think it's
Okay,
the right word.
but Lou, in the examples you're considering, see, because I raised this topic of how I presented patients on those panels, because you initially presented the narrative that you'd seen some growth, but I used to last like that, I was just triggered immediately, and that's not accurate. Hey, Scott, how you doing, brother?
Look, man, you're famous. You're on
I,
TV.
I see you. I see me in the back. Thank you, brother. God bless.
Let me move something out of the way. I got the fireplace going here. Let's invite up. Invite that up. Where'd Lou go?
Hey,
I wanted to
I
say hello to Lou.
yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of kept going on there. I think his connection dropped. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not certain,
How you
but
been doing, Jack?
brother, I feel like things are revealing themselves perfectly, that things are being aligned in ways that I don't yet understand completely. But we were talking earlier. I have hope and excitement for what the future might bring.
Sorry about that,
Future.
Jack. I had a phone call come in. I apologize.
No
The
worries.
future's wide open, man. Ain't nothing but space and opportunity ahead.
That's the key. Accepting that the future is filled with opportunities. We may not know what the future brings. We've got no friggin' clue what the future brings.
Look,
All
some
we
of the
can
people
do,
around here take advantage of what their opportunities around them right now. And when they realize the past opportunities they haven't taken advantage of, they're going to really, really run their fucking mind backwards and go, why didn't I listen? Was I that far into stupidity that I couldn't shut up for 2 minutes and listen to someone like Lou, who, Lou, I would ask you on probably 50 subjects, what do you do? And here's the story. This is as easy as I can put it. It's, young man, I need you because your back is strong. Old man, I need you because you know the way. That's what the women are always going to say. Always going to say.
The women?
It's that simple. The women are always going to say, young man, I need you because your back is strong. But old man, I need you because you know how to get it done.
Okay.
It's just simple fucking logic that's been around for thousands of years. And the problem we have is the elders in the church a long time ago decided, wow, these words are really powerful. What if we turn them around, twist them, and hide them from people? Can we fuck with them? Oh, yeah, we can fuck with them. Let's just twist the words.
Hey, Scott, that's kind of the discussion that I was trying to participate in last night, and the idea of the spiritual wars. What you said is exactly true. There were those who came before us and manipulated the words and said, this is the way that things are. And then our parents, through their best intentions and, their own level of knowledge or ignorance, they raised us the way we were raised. But we got a lot of good. Go ahead.
It's an interesting quagmire we end up in when we take it for granted that things that we've been taught are true. In reality, we haven't been taught anything. We've been indoctrinated to believe a lot of bullshit, and not some of us. On a fucking grand scale, it's ubiquitous across the globe, around the world, or if you say it's flat, across the fucking flat terrain of this motherfucker. They've screwed with everybody. The words is where they started. That's how they did this. And the English language, it's the lowest vibration there is. It's the fucking dumbest language. We're speaking dummy stuff.
Yes, but it doesn't matter. Okay. What matters is we know this, and you're right. Actually, golly geez, there's so many ways that this history and our this realm we live in, there's so many ways it can be explained and shown as to what has brought us to today. And today we know that this world it's not healthy. And so what really matters is, what do? We don't have to know everything. We don't have to know exactly what brought everything together today. We don't have to know exactly how everything's going to be unfolded in the future. All we got to figure out is, each of us individually, moment by moment through the day, what does love want me to do?
What the heck are you doing, Scott?
He's adjusting. I muted him.
I lost my train of thought now, but I think it was something about the it's about, does it really matter that the world is a mess, or that what was the words you used, that it's really unhealthy or something like, yeah, and then you said, what do you do? In the end, what you do is all you have, isn't it? Like, in the end, the world could be as messed up as it is, and people could be doing all kinds of crazy things, but at the end of the day, the only thing that you have any real power over is what you do and how you change yourself. I can only adjust my reactions, lack of reactions, feelings, no feeling, whatever, that I have. I can't change what my daughter's feelings or thoughts or reactions are. The only power I have is to change myself. And the more I think about changing whatever I want her to become, to adjust to the more damaged things become, the more I will damage things.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I can do, and whether it's for a relationship or whether it's for the wars and the secrets and all that, the only thing I can really do is change me. And then hopefully by changing myself, I get a better understanding of what the rest of the world is doing, and I have a better way of dealing with it, or better way of at least accepting it or not accepting it. But right, like I said, It's
Hey, Lou.
just us that we can change,
Right.
our own self.
Yep. Okay, but saying the words and doing the deeds are two different things. And many people are telling themselves, "Oh, I'm changing me, I'm improving me," but they're really not even looking at themselves.
Right.
Okay? So you're absolutely right, though. The change starts within. Um, and we don't control others, we don't control the stock market, we don't control nature. We control how we view and what we think about what is happening. And so the thoughts and the feelings, those are going to create what we do. But if you're not paying attention to what you're thinking, if you're not honest about what you're feeling, you're going to be confused and your actions will contradict what you say. Okay. And what we are, I don't mean to keep going on, but what we are is what we do. Whatever we feel is going to generate what we do. And I started this earlier, admitting my energies were feeling pretty low. So I really had little enthusiasm in doing this. But when we notice what we feel and what we've got to do and what we think, life actually, if that's all you're focused on, if all you are focused on primarily is what am I thinking, what am I feeling, what am I doing, the world will take care of itself, including
it's
those
like
we care about, Lou.
it's like the whole idea of rights and freedoms. You know, growing up, whether we conformed to this baloney or not, in our hearts, I think most everybody, I think if you really, really analyzed your heart, and most everybody would probably say the same thing if they were honest, although there's probably some people that didn't, but at some point in their life understood that there's something wrong with this system. This is not this system that we're living under, this basically tyranny that we're under is not for anyone's safety. It's not for anyone's well-being. It's not for any sort of good other than to control the masses. And at some degree, we all understood this in our lives at some point, whether we're
Lou, can you hear
younger.
me?
Yes.
What happened to Jack? Did he go away?
He's still there. It's just his camera's on the fritz. His camera's on the fritz,
Okay,
but he's still there.
nice. The
But
new
in the
laptop.
end, what even myself, I won't go to speak about anybody. At a certain point, I chose to conform to the system, right? And even when I chose to conform to this tyrannical system we live under, I didn't even do it well at that. But in my heart, I knew that it's not correct. There's something wrong here. But I just chose not to see it for a while, right?
Amen.
And
Hey, Lou.
and it ends up making us, I think, in the end, leaving us hopeless and desperate
Yes. So
and
here,
alone.
Lou, yes, you're absolutely right. I made those same mistakes. I made excuses within myself and said, okay, I got to do this to conform. But even the things I conformed to, the job and the debts and all of this stuff, I still did it with honor, right?
Yeah, so
I
did I.
carried a lot of responsibility on me and a lot of weight to conform with honor. Well, you know what? We do not exist in an honorable system, and people will drive themselves nuts trying to be honorable while at the same time making excuses. When we make excuses and we start blaming, guess what? That's where we're divided, and divided we remain corrupted and oppressed. We've got to resolve our own inner conflicts so that when we interact with each other, we're in the present and we're sharing honesty and respect with each other, especially in those important relationships, Lou.
Yeah,
Okay, it's
absolutely.
Jack,
really
in all
easy.
in all relationships, because lack of unity is fucking pure lunacy. It really is. Why are we moving forward with such stupidity and such, low level thinking that we want to just beat up our next door neighbor, the guy sitting next to us, the guy across from us? Why do we want to pick out his every flaw or any flaw? Why do we want to even talk about flawed individuals? I don't see you as flawed. I see you as capable of learning. You're learnable. Okay. So I see you as capable of moving forward. You're movable. Okay. So this is just
Not
a
everybody,
world.
not everybody is in a state. I don't believe that everybody is, or nowadays, I don't think a lot of people are in a state where they're, like you say, learn able.
What,
I
what,
think a lot of people
Wait.
are just content in staying in one place,
Hey, Lou.
if we're
and it's
fighting, nobody
comfortable,
wants to
and
learn.
it's
Wait. Time out. Lou.
yeah.
The reason you believe that is because that is what your life is demonstrating, and that is what the people around you are demonstrating. Okay. I've said this openly before about that Paul Unslaved panel where we met.
Yeah.
That's a gathering of people who are lacking purpose and they're not driven by something greater. They're just telling each other how good they are and complaining about the things that they say they can't change.
Have you changed since you've been on Paul's panel at all, Jack? Has anything changed in
Is
you
there okay?
personally?
Is there a relevance?
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I'm
I've
just
said some
curious.
things, but
I'm just curious to know.
what do you think? I've answered this question, and I've spoken about this many times. So, what do you think,
No,
Lou?
no, I don't know. I'm just genuinely asking because I'm at this moment, I'm not 100% sure what you feel about if you've changed or not changed. I'm not sure. That's why
Yes,
I'm asking.
Lou. Yes, Lou. I have
So,
changed.
have you changed for the better? As it,
Yes.
or do you, is it done? Has it given you a better outlook on yourself and the world and your feelings and all that?
The
I'm
life that
genuinely
God.
asking.
Hey,
I'm
Lou.
genuinely asking.
No, you're actually you're like taking some position, asking questions that have really no relevance. I mean, where are you
Shove the
going with it?
question back at him. You, Lou, you go there, you
I
talk,
tried.
ask the same question of
Yeah, yeah,
yourself. Do you?
definitely. Yes, definitely.
Okay. So you feel
Yes.
there's value.
For me,
Do
yes.
you feel there's respect?
There has been value in for me in the effect in the way of
Now, he's gotten involved with your family. He's got your family going back and forth. You allowed that to happen. That's up to you. But I
yes,
mean,
yes, 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 I did. And there's some things I
What's
regret that
wrong?
I would wish that I did differently, but it doesn't take away from the fact that since I've come on to this particular panel, and it's the only time I've ever come to talk to anybody on the internet. I've never done this before. So I've only done it here and with these people.
we're
And
all virgins here, Lou.
and
You're not
since
alone.
I in my opinion, and from what I've seen in my life, I've changed quite a bit. Number one, I'm not in a state where I feel like there's no hope for this world anymore. I'm not in that state anymore. Right? Today, I believe that there's hope for this world because there's hope for me. So that's one thing that's changed. I've also changed in the sense that for a long time, I was sort of like this idea of uh, not waiting to die, because I don't want to say that's the case, but feeling like, okay, I've done everything I can do in this realm and there's nothing else I can do. So I may as well just sit and wait. And I'm no longer in that position or that state of mind. So I'm not going to give anybody the credit for that change, but I will say this white gorilla next to me did have a part in it. Right? I will say that because it's the truth. And it's the only thing I have on this earth is the truth. It's the only thing I have is what's real, because nothing else matters.
You know what, Lou? I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that there's not one, but 50, if there's one, people that Paul's helped.
I agree.
It's way more than that.
I mean, I don't know, but I would guess, I'd venture a guess. But sometimes I wonder, what kind of a flogging these people are taking in order to gain that momentum that we call help or forward
Representative
momentum.
of the good people, right? That's what you guys are always here to do, to keep everyone safe from me. 'Cause
No.
you've
I
decided
don't think
everyone's
people
as
are
big
free
of
to
a,
do whatever they want.
yeah, you've
You're
decided
now
everyone's
coming. No, I'm sticking to myself.
Paul.
If you want to, excuse me for interrupting, but I'm sticking to myself. I'm not on your platform trying to degrade you
No,
at
you're on
all.
someone else's platform degrading me. We're trying to.
Well,
I
tell you
just
what,
said that
tell
you
you what.
fucking helped probably 50 people.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
you did the
change the
whole thing where
subject.
you
Hey,
you did the
Paul,
whole
I
thing where
know
you
your
compliment me and then
intention.
shit on me.
Hey, I know your intentions was to
How
take a
many people?
break and come back and fuck with me, but you can kiss my ass, Paul. Have a good night. So,
Well, all I would say is, look, I'm not going to pretend that what I've been through with Paul and the panels in general, that there hasn't been times where I felt like it was too much or it was too far or it may have
Lou,
been could have been done differently. I'm not going to pretend that
Lou,
that's not
interrupt
the case.
yourself, please. Okay.
Sorry.
I've allowed you to go on, and you
Okay,
seem
I'm
to
stopping.
love talking without a point or a purpose. You started, okay. I do not doubt you and others have found value from Paul Unslaved.
Have you?
You're welcome. You're
Jack,
welcome
I
to
found
take your
value
happy
with
ass
you
back there.
last night.
Have you
I
found
think a
value
bunch
with
of
Paul
people at
Unslaved,
Fight Club
Jack?
found value.
I'm asking Jack, have you found value with Paul? Honestly.
Why? What are you trying to prove?
I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just curious.
Hey, Lou. Hey, actually, you know what? Kiss my ass too. I've answered that question far enough. I've said what good I've found from Paul. I've given myself credit. And you know what? To those who have found value in Paul, God bless you. Because I see his tactics. He's like a narcissist. And, he's actually bragged about this. I'm the alpha male. And so I watch for those beta males and I go online and I make sure they know who's better than them. So Paul plays this stupid ass game with others who tell him how great he is. And it's absolute foolishness. There was a reason I started down this line. I can't remember why. Oh, sorry, Scott, for those who found value, the way Paul works, I've discussed this openly. He has a method that he has learned that worked for him. It was being real tough and ruthless and cold with the truth. God bless Paul for being able to find the value in that. So now he's going around and he's finding a way to make a living in this corrupted world doing the same thing, bringing people to pain so that they have the opportunity to discover their strength within them. So for those of you who have found value in from Paul and his abusive methods of instruction, God bless you. I'm proud of you. Okay. Hey, Flo.
What up?
I just brought Paul back, but I don't know why he's here. If it's not to fuck with me, like he said.
Right.
Have a good one, Paul. If you want to go glorify yourself, you can go start a stream. You're perfectly capable.
Where is he, at the DMV?
I honestly don't know. Could be, but I doubt it.
Scott, did you email me? You're muted or something.
A while back, I did, in fact. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
That was real, authentic, true.
Just making sure that's real Scott and not imposter Scott.
Yes, no, that's real Scott. That's real Scott. But
Here. I was going to address this. The CIA, that's what I've acknowledged. Yeah. He's placed upon himself this character that he thinks the world needs him to run around in the metaverse here on YouTube and act like a drill sergeant. The problem is he doesn't care about what is true. Okay, he only cares about Paul's truth, Paul's rights, Paul's freedom to be an asshole to anyone he wants. Well, I said it the other day, Paul. You've met your match.
hey, wasn't Sergeant Carter always really in the end the dumbass?
Is that the dude from that movie? What's that
Gomer
movie?
Pyle. Gomer Pyle, Sergeant
Oh.
Carter. So if he wants to treat you like Gomer Pyle, remember Jim Neighbors' character fucking kicked ass. In all honesty, it was like, happy go lucky. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir. Well, golly.
Hey, Scott, I'm sure you're capable. Flo, I'm pretty sure you are as well. And Paul's still back there. He's doing his business for whatever he's doing. God damn it. It is obvious he's in my heart as well as I'm in his.
Sure, he's restreaming, I'm sure. It's all content.
I don't think so. When you're ready to join, Paul. This spiritual warfare we are in, it's time for us to kind of, to recognize we need to overcome where we're confused. We need to recognize that there really is it's not so much a battle, it's an opportunity. Okay? The energies I was feeling earlier today is I am done fighting. I am so done fighting. Okay? I'm a man of peace. I've been fighting my whole life. And Lou was asking me about what I'm excited about for the future. It's whatever God wants it to be, man. I'm done fighting. And you know what? It's so much easier when you stop fighting what is real. When you stop fighting what God has placed in your timeline and your life path. Once we stop denying the truth, then we can bring it in within us and understand the totality of it all. And with the strength of the truth, man, then you're empowered with gratitude and confidence. And that we need men today with true and honest confidence, with a gentle strength, right? We've all been taught that we need to engage and fight and stand up for what's right. And that is true. We do need to do that. But we got to keep our damn senses about us, meaning our reasoning and our logic about what is, what is important? That's the question I've been trying to figure out. And honestly, I recommend it, guys. Make God, your relationship with God, make that important, please. I think that's what I'm supposed to be sharing. And I've thought this for quite a while, that my purpose is to share humility with others, that we turn to God. Because if we can humble ourselves to the fact that there is a divine force in which we are all a part of, once you realize you're a part of something, then you have the ability to influence it and capture it. And we all want to capture our little piece of life, but this society has taught us to think small. I'm tired of thinking small. I'm tired of settling for acceptable. I want better, and I want greater, and I want more. And yet, I need nothing. You're muted, Scott.
Ask you, what does that look like to you? What does that mean to you?
Which part?
You want more. You don't want to settle anymore.
I want all that God will allow me to receive, all that God might allow me to experience. But
that's up to you. The world's wide open. Remember what I said a little while ago. Fucking opportunity. Ain't nothing. That's what people don't see. There is nothing between you and success but space and opportunity.
yes,
Nothing.
Scott, yes, that's a lesson I learned for myself. When we're faced with problems and questions, there is an answer and a solution out there. It's just a matter of getting your mind to that knowledge. So
You could take certain ends of it, and this is the fact, okay? You can take certain individuals who understand the way things work and drop them anywhere with nothing, and they can turn it on, okay? But humility is a very fucking huge factor, because in order to be that person that can come from absolutely nothing, you have to humble yourself. Now, I'd suggest that we'd see a lot of evidence of that in the people that can do that. The capability of doing that is remarkable, to pull yourself out of fucking nothing and then succeed. But the people that know how the system's working, they can do it in a matter of months. Drop them anywhere.
we can all know how the system works, because there's a universal system that is more important than any of this corporate or government systems. There's a universal system, and the universal laws of energy transference, and all we have to do is learn how to be comfortable as us, with us, and prepare ourselves for whatever the future brings now. Right? We've this society, there's it's really easy to get lost in time, spend hours and hours calculating and imagining all sorts of conditions and variables for the future. We've got to do our best to do that, right? To be wise and aware and pay attention to what is relevant. But the society profits from apathy. It profits from procrastination, from deception. We've got to motivate ourselves and each other. We've got to start holding ourselves and each other accountable for the things we say, the things we commit ourselves to.
You ever think of the needle in your car on the gas gauge? Think about it as an indicator of whether you're happy or you're sad. Okay, if it was a half a tank or below, you're probably not feeling too good. If it's up near full or all the way full, that needle's pegging you into a little bit of happiness when it comes to wanting to go somewhere, rights, freedoms, ability to travel.
It's pegging
So
you.
let's think about our consciousness as being sort of a gas gauge. And, the more happiness we can bring in or share with others, ultimately, you're going to feel that in return. And if you can harness that, ultimately, you can spread it very, well, almost effortlessly.
What the fuck are you talking about,
People,
bro? Does anybody understand what the fuck this idiot is talking about?
probably
Talking
not
about a
you.
gas gauge,
I
hitting a
got some of that.
needle.
I got some of it. He's
Can't you
saying
just
if we
fucking
fill
do something
ourselves,
for yourself and everyone else in this life instead of coming up with a bunch of bullshit to talk about all day, every day?
oh,
Did he get kicked out again? He's working out of the car? I hope not. I'm sorry,
No,
Probably
Paul.
took his
Things are
driver's
going bad.
permit test.
I taking the driver's test for his license. I didn't see where that new suspicion came up, but you know what?
Oh, I didn't.
Here's the reality. I think everyone, even though Lou's up here trying to play mind games, that I don't show my gratitude. I think everyone knows my care and affection for not just Paul, but hopefully everyone. We are all part of this bizarre experience. And we can not like each other. We can spend time criticizing each other and complaining about each other. We can do whatever we want. But the better world is
You can
going to
do
come
whatever
when
you
we
want. That's how life works.
Real good. What a connection.
Your
Awesome
audio
connection.
is really,
Awesome.
really bad.
Need new equipment, buddy. Go back to the trailer.
No, he's on the
Right,
road.
Scott. You're
It happens.
so much more successful than I am.
Easy,
in every
easy,
arena.
easy.
We know. We got it.
Easily said. Easily said. Women, fucking relationships, family, every dynamic on the board, I will peg you fucking from behind. You're just a little bitch.
The past,
Phrasing, man.
nothing matters. None of that matters. Those are memories. And
Not
who
only
cares
that,
about
but skill sets, just broad spectrum skill sets. I can do anything and you can't do anything.
We can all do anything, and we're all
Fix your
capable
car.
of following-
What are you going to do? Take it to the
God.
mechanic? You're going to fix it.
Hey, you know what? Please disengage. I was just going to
My
ask.
apologies. My apologies.
Thank you. I was just going to ask Paul for the same thing. And frankly, I think I am comfortable wrapping up pretty soon.
Man, I just got here.
I know.
We love you, Jack.
Close
Jack
that
wants
you're
to go smoke a
horrible.
bowl.
Hey, I love you guys too. So
Jack, last night, Raw B kind of liked you. I think she even throw it.
So too.
Oh,
She was about it.
She said she even liked you, man.
She's pretty obnoxious.
She kicked Flo and 4 others off and left you up.
Was that her?
Yes, she ditched you, bro. She
Hey,
knocked
is this the
you
part
out.
where you guys pretend like you went on
Jack,
Fight
how long
Club
did
and
you
did
stay on
something?
after that?
Is this
We
that
pretend
part?
like you're not here.
Yeah.
We pretend like you're not here. That
see
was what we
you're
were
doing.
doing.
More power
Jack, were you
games.
on long after that?
So,
that's what we're gonna do. Is a lot
how
of
did you
time.
enjoy that last night, Jack? You had fun. You were having fun, were you?
You know, I am trying to make connections and introductions to many other people.
Dude,
and
you were loosening up. You were feeling good. You were giddy like a kid. You were having fun. There was no reason you shouldn't have been. And you came up with some because you were relaxed. Some of the things you said, I think, were spot on. And they came from the fucking years of study that you've done that, you know what? It's hard to bring out when somebody's fucking pissing in your ear.
Hey, thank you, Scott. It was fun, but you know, I don't want to really talk about too much about the experience. What was her name?
You're getting a little
Robbie.
handle
We're
this.
talking about Robbie.
Actually, I loved listening to her talk. I loved her perspective.
Sharp woman.
See,
Studied,
I
yeah.
agreed like a motherfucker with her at first, but then she turned. You know, like it's logically inconsistent for her to defend Pride the way that she does, right? Without getting into the particulars of whether or not Pride is right or wrong, her perspective is not consistent with the rest of her religion or religious views.
I don't know enough, but I tend to disagree with you. I mean, because I do understand from what I heard, I think I do understand where she's coming from. And
well, she was judging and saying that you can't judge, right? So that in and of itself is problematic.
Well, I've talked about this before. There is a difference between judgment and discernment. And Scott, I think it was you earlier talking about how sloppy our language, the English language, actually is.
Probably intentionally sloppy.
Well,
Guaranteed. That's
absolutely. There is power in words. The words we use are spells, and our consciousness with the power of words, well, just logically, the power of words generates our thoughts. And from those thoughts, that's where we find our relationship to everything else.
100%.
Frequency. About what?
Well,
Finna. I finna go to bed.
Hey, how about Robbie? Have you checked out her channel? She mentioned a channel.
I did. She's actually started a stream the same time I did, and
that's where you gotta go.
Well,
yeah,
no.
Jack's got a date.
Have you been with a black girl?
Yes.
Meat. All right.
Well, you wanted to say me too? Is that where you're gonna go? You're gonna me too yourself, host date? Come on.
Shut up.
No.
Me too. Jeez.
Actually, she did
Are you judging me, Scott?
No, maybe just jealous. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is just fascinating. Here, let's do that. And then Paul.
He's so angry.
God bless you, brother. So, yeah, the vitriol and the arrogance, it's not the sign of a healthy man. I've offered my personal attention, my personal support. I've been studying health, and here Paul wants to constantly compare results from his perspective using the materialist mindset. But for me, life is the most important thing.
I mean, I tried to play that game with him on the materialist level, and he refused to cede the point, even though,
fascinating. Well, it's denial. This is demonstration. By God's grace, we're witnessing and experiencing all of this together. So we get to learn. And what we're seeing is denial. This is a common human trait. It's demonstrated through arrogance and, lack of self-control. And it stems from a lack of self-awareness, but it's just an unhealed inner child. And there's many unhealed inner childs out there today.
It's interesting, what Scott was saying earlier about some people, you can drop them anywhere and they're successful. But one thing that, from what I've seen, is that people who are that way are not all up in their own egos, right? They've got enough genuine confidence to risk failure.
Yeah.
Typically got too much shit to do to fucking go inward that way. They go inward for other things. How do you solve this riddle?
That's how they end up. But first, they have to be willing to fail sincerely and admit to themselves when it's a failure, because you're going to fail. That's part of succeeding. I've said it before, I don't even like the word failure. I think it's the wrong way of viewing a step in success.
That's Tommy. No, it was actually in real estate training that I had years ago. There was a guy, there's some of the greats out there in real estate. One of them was Floyd Wickman, and it may have been Tommy Hopkins, but I do believe it was one of the two of them that said, I never see failure as failure. It's always another step to success. Meaning, you keep knocking on that door. Somebody says no, you go, thank you, because I only got 4 more till I get to yes. And eventually you can track out how many doors it takes to knock before you get a yes. So you can count the no's to the next yes. So, and theoretically, exactly that's what you have to realize is you become your own success. And no.
Yep. Hey, Scott, you're freezing up. I'm going to actually start wrapping this up anyway. Okay. So
Yeah, I was checking out another thing. This should be a little clearer. Is it still stream or is it better?
I
better.
think it's better, but I'm
Yeah, I
going to throw
had
you to the
two
bit
devices.
and wrap this up. Thank you, Scott. Flo, anything on your way out?
Nope, nothing. That won't open a whole new topic. So next time.
Much love, brother. Thank you. Thank you for joining. And thank you for all who did join the panel, including Paul Unslaved. Respect to you, brother, for what you offer to the world. But when you stop offering me such disrespect, we're going to have much, much more fun results. Because, you know, I find it fascinating. I'm here offering what I feel to know, and what I know to be true. That's important. I'm being honest with you as a messenger of the truth that I know. No intentions to deceive or manipulate others, but brothers and sisters, we live in the midst of a spiritual war. And, you know, don't take the words too out of context or too drastic, but it is for our souls, because what we do in this lifetime goes down in the halls of record, right? And it's going to be carried with us. We're going to carry our memories with us to heaven, so I assume. You know, that's why we're here. Those are the treasures that are being gathered to be, you know, celebrated on the other side. The memories of what we did with what we had for those who we may have met, may have known. We're here in the midst of a spiritual warfare, and it's all conducted in the mind. Okay, there's been a lot of money, a lot of studies, a lot of successful propaganda that's been used to create the current conditions of our society, of our world. This global hierarchy of these structures of power, with people waging entire war armies of people at each other, people profiting from destruction, from the poisoning. And it's just absolute insanity, brothers and sisters. So if this is real, if we are living at this time on this beautiful, gorgeous, diverse, abundant Mother Earth, if we are all here today, and we can recognize that there's a spiritual battle that's raging for our souls, the spirit of you, the essence of you, the way you feel. The way you feel is important. Okay? So don't let those battles take up too much of the time in your day. There's going to be disagreements and chaos and all these bad things I've been talking about too. You know, the wars and stuff. All that stuff takes place, but guess what? This is God's realm. This is God's realm, and there is a perfection towards all things. And if you can trust in God's perfection, you can find your connection to God as well. And then recognize the steps you can create, the steps you can take to improve the imperfections of your day, the imperfections of your thoughts, the imperfections of how you feel. You know, don't focus on the bad, find the good, and recognize all battles, everything outside, it starts and it's all experienced within. With that, I'm going to shut up and continue the day. And I thank you. I thank you all. Let me do this one more time, please. I am trying to reach others. And if you find value, if you find encouragement beyond the chaos and the entertainment that keeps coming here, if you find value, please share it with others. We want to help the world become a better place, because when we do, man, what could we do? Thank you, brothers and sisters. Choose love. Live without fear. God bless.